Russian forces have taken control of Europe's largest nuclear power plant after the site was set ablaze during clashes with Ukrainian troops. Moscow has blamed the attack at the Zaporizhzhia plant on Ukraine, claiming they started the provocation. NATO and world powers have condemned Russia's recklessness in shelling a dangerous site. The attack has spread fears of a potential nuclear disaster as the conflict continues to escalate. Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelenskyy says only a no-fly zone can guarantee Russia does not bomb nuclear infrastructure. Live to Moscow and Western Ukraine in a moment, but first, a look at how Russian forces are pressing ahead with their offensive.
The nuclear plant, which generates almost a quarter of all electricity in Ukraine, under attack. Russian airstrikes targeted the Zaporizhzhia complex, sparking a major fire to one of its 6 reactors. That set off alarm bells across the world, especially in Europe. After hours of fighting near the plant, emergency services were able to extinguish the blaze. Authorities say no immediate rise in radiation has been detected. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy has accused Moscow of deliberately targeting infrastructure and residential areas. He's urged world leaders to stop Russia before this turns into a nuclear disaster.
Жодна держава, окрім Росії, ніколи не обстрілювала атомні енергоблоки. Вперше в нашій історії, в історії людства, держава-терорист вдалася і до ядерного терору.
Russia continues to advance on its other targets. Its army has been closing in on the southern port city of Mariupol, which has been rocked by heavy shelling. Residential areas have been severely damaged. Power and water supplies have been completely cut off. More than 40 people have been killed in Chernihiv in the north after Russian forces targeted residential areas, including schools. It's been more than a week since the start of the conflict, and there are still no signs of Moscow halting its offensive. Russian and Ukrainian negotiators had agreed to set up humanitarian corridors, allowing civilians to escape and the delivery of medical supplies to those in need. But it's unclear how and when this will be implemented.
Ukrainian journalist Andriy Derela joins us live now from Hermanatsky in Western Ukraine for more. Andriy, the stakes appear to just be getting higher and higher with each passing day in this conflict. A nuclear threat earlier on, now more airstrikes as well across Ukraine. So how fast are Russian troops advancing?
Yes, this has been an incredibly scary night across Ukraine with all the reports around the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant. And there were first information messages that indeed the blocks were targeted, but at the end the confirmation was given that it was a training building that caught fire and got most of the damage. So as for the advances themselves, same as yesterday, it seems like the offensive on the ground has slowed down, even though the shelling continues and more civilian infrastructure is being damaged. It seems like around Kyiv, for example, the Russian forces are either regrouping or just waiting for other directives from their command centers. There is a convoy that has spread around 60 kilometers or even more just outside Kyiv, but it has not made any big movements over the past 24 hours. So whatever is happening, we don't really know when things will intensify once again.
And Andriy, as that shelling continues, civilian casualties have also risen. Is the Ukrainian government sending in more troops at all to areas that have been worst hit, like Chernihiv and Mariupol, that have come under a great deal of intense strikes?
The Ukrainian authorities are not normally sharing any information of the military deployments and where the troops are going. I think in most cases we learn about these deployments after they arrive, or even after they have successfully repelled the Russian armed forces' advancements. So there is no definitive confirmation that more troops are coming towards those cities. However, what we do know is that after taking Kherson and moving through Energodar towards the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant, the Russian troops have not taken any major Ukrainian cities, which could be a cause for very cautious optimism. What else gives some optimism is that some of the sanctions from Europe seem to be working. I know that right now many technology companies, technology giants from all over the world are stopping to work in Russia or with Russian companies. And one of Russia's biggest technology companies, Yandex, has suggested that it may default on its convertible bonds very soon. So this part seems to be working right now, and people in Ukraine, a lot of people in Ukraine are also following this news very closely.
Andriy, thank you for that update and continue to stay safe there. That was Andriy Derela, in Hermanatsky in Western Ukraine.